Here, our problem is drinking water. And because of that, people are making money, huge money here. Why? Because the sachet water, if you bring 3 trucks here, it will finish.
John Kwesi is Unit Committee Chairman of Bayin, a fishing village in the western region, Ghana.
You need the water. You need the water. You need the water. Seriously.
Water, for me, is life.
Paramount Chief, Western Nzima Traditional Area, Awoloy Ano Ajay III.
This community has been established as far back as 1400 years ago. And you would appreciate that even with your few rams, you can find only gaping wells.
Open hand-dug wells are the only water source for countless communities along the coast. Atwabu Assemblyman John Kwashi.
People throw items, food items and other things into it, and it makes the water impure for people consumption. So since we don't have any option, we sometimes take it, and it results in many diseases like diarrhea and coughing and so on.
There are so many insects, bacteria that formulate in the water. And that bacteria, if you take in, it will disturb the human body.
Local school teacher Rufa Nwabo says the children are especially hard hit.
If you don't get good water, it have an effect on the school because the child will not get a sound body with a sound mind. Without a sound body, the child cannot cope with whatever is being taught in the classroom.
And in the dry season, the problem is worse. And once again, it's the children who suffer most. Headmaster of Atwabu Methodist JHS, Timothy Mensah.
All the children have to go and struggle on the few wells that will have water in them to get their water. Even if they get there early, it delays them in their coming to school.
The Ikebaku Clinic has its own story to tell.
Almost every child under 5 who reports to the facility comes with diarrhea. It bothers us a lot because if they always have diarrhea, it will affect their health and then their growth.
The story repeats itself along the length and breadth of the coast. Tens of thousands of people daily experience the consequences of unsafe water. Awoloy Ano Ajay III appealed to government for help, and in 2006 a water tower was built in Bayin and pipes laid, linking to the villages of Ekebaku and Ingalikasu. But the project soon ran into trouble. Finding a cost-effective source of water was the major challenge. Boreholes were drilled, but the yields were low and the water saline, and the project was soon abandoned. It was then that the Paramount Chief approached Kosmos Energy, discoverers of the Jubilee oil field. Jomoro district falls within its area of operation, and the company quickly accepted the challenge.
Kosmos is a company that, one, respects the communities where we operate in. Two, it's a company that really takes to heart the development and the enhancement of the communities where we operate.
We fundamentally believe we have a responsibility, not an obligation. We have a responsibility to feed back into the community on a philanthropic basis, and that is just a core belief.
To partner them in the project, they chose international NGO Safe Water Network.
Our purpose is to certainly bring successful systems to people in need, but even more important than that in many ways is to find a model and approach that can be broadly replicated and picked up by other important players in the sector.
We don't see ourselves as a water company. We see ourselves as a way to impact the health of the communities, raise their living standards, and also help them build a business.
Capacity building and local ownership based on sound business principles lie at the heart of the approach. Safe Water Network was tasked with setting up a sustainable, cost-effective water system to serve the communities of Bayin, Atwabu, Ingalikazu, and Ekebaku. Here is the story.
The first challenge we faced was to find an appropriate source water body.
Sinking more boreholes and using groundwater was out of the question.
We tested a lot of the boreholes. It was very, very high in manganese and iron content. And it was also very, very, very high in microbial composition. And all these, are way above the WHO standards for safety.
Too much iron in the body can lead to heart attacks, multiple sclerosis, even Parkinson's disease, while excessive manganese quite literally dulls the brain, with children most vulnerable to its effects. The search was on to find an alternative source of water, and they found it here, just 3 kilometers from Beyin. Lake Amanzuri, a huge natural water body.
The next challenge is how do you get it to 3.5 kilometers to the source to be treated?
From a pump submersed in the lake, it's piped back to the water tower in Beyin. To keep down costs, it was decided to partner with the government and piggyback on the distribution network already built for the first aborted project. Apart from the addition of some extra standpipes, the system is intact and ready to go. Because of the capacity of the storage tank and the vast volumes of water the lake will provide, the nearby village of Atuabu has been added to the system. And then there's the village of Inzulezu, the traditional custodians of the lake. Safe water here too is a perennial problem. Although they won't receive piped water in this first phase of the project, they will be given free access to the water of nearby Beyin.
We are talking of not less than 6,000 people that are going to be actively participating in this project and are going to be beneficiary.
This is simply phase 1 of 3 phases to be spread over the next 3 years.
We hope to at least provide safe drinkable water to over 20,000 people. And I think that is very significant.
Here is the heart of the system, the ultrafiltration plant in Beyin. Designed in South Africa, it's the first of its kind in Ghana. It's known as membrane technology, in which water is pushed under high pressure through an ultrafine mesh whose pores are so small as to create a barrier against bacteria. Contaminants are quite literally strained out of the water. Using the minimum of chemicals is cost-effective and highly efficient.
It's a very simple technology and it's very, very appropriate for this area. And we think the communities can really be, made to be able to own this system and work with it going forward.
This concept of ownership is key to the project's success.
Because you cannot sit and then think for people without knowing their real needs, without knowing what you think we can do for them to help them.
The people themselves know actually what they want. So why not involve them in the decision-making process?
If you are coming to do a project, it is good to involve the very people who benefit it, so that they see that they are part of it.
Whether through small focus groups, forums, workshops, meetings with traditional councils or village durbas, the communities have been involved every step of the way.
Yes, right. They have done it right. The community was sensitized. All the communities involved had been properly briefed about the project.
The project was open up. I think the activities and the plans and everything were spelled out.
They come together, meet us as stakeholders with the traditional heads, and then we take decisions together.
That is why we are all involving ourselves.
The youth came out in their numbers to contribute to the project.
We took part of digging the ground, stretching the pipe, laying the pipe to the water.
They've provided labor throughout. Not just digging trenches and laying cables, but helping build new standpipes too. Women have also played a key role in the project's success. The youth may have helped build the standpipes, but it was the women who decided on their location. Today, the women of Atuabu have gathered to discuss the pricing of the water, a process repeated in each community.
Not that they want it free, they know they have to pay something, but it shouldn't be so much to exceed, because if it is high, the demand will not go on, and that will make the work done zero.
They've decided that 5 pesos per bucket would be a fair price to pay.
If the demand is great and even they are paying 5 pesos, you know that at a day I will get about 100,000. which can pay some of the costs.
This is what makes the project unique, its market-based approach.
It's not free. They manage it, they run it like a real business. So by the end of the day, it sustains the water project.
The community legally owns the project. It's their system, their business, and they're being taught how to manage it. And it's entirely self-sustaining. The tariff that people pay for water will remain in the community. Managed by an elected board, it's to be used for maintenance and repair of the system and to pay the community members who operate it.
The key aspect of it is economic empowerment, capacity building.
We take local people with the requisite knowledge and expertise within the community and give them training on how to run the system technology-wise.
At the end of their training, for example, the running of the filtration plant will be left entirely in the hands of 2 local operators.
And the kind of skills and the kind of knowledge that is imparted to these guys will also make them to become experts in their own field.
These are the water vendors, who are responsible for selling the water and collecting the revenue. Selected by the community, they're being trained in how to read meters, keep accurate records, and do basic bookkeeping.
And then they will also be sensitized and give education in hygiene and then sanitation.
Another approach that we adopt in terms of the model is to not just provide water for the communities, but also try and build capacity in terms of behavior change.
The ultimate aim of the project is to impact on the health of communities. Personal hygiene and how to prevent the recontamination of safe water are, for example, important messages to get out into the community.
We believe that children are the drivers of change. So as Safe Water Network, for every community we enter, we train children in the schools. We call them peer educators.
Also in training are the community health volunteers, a dedicated core of local people who will spearhead the education outreach, teaching others how to store water safely, how to manage wastewater, and again, personal and environmental hygiene.
They are like our ambassadors, like our mouthpiece. We believe that we'll be able to transform the behaviors of people in the community with constant education.
After months of careful preparation, the end is in sight and the people are excited.
All the pipes has been laid, the burden has been put down, so they know definitely it is coming. So we are waiting for it to come.
First water will flow 1 week from today and the countdown begins.
Every time we get to the home stretch, it's exciting, it's busy, it's exciting, it's challenging.
The safe transport and storage of water is crucial and the special containers arrive. Here at the plant, all hands are on deck to see to last-minute finishing touches. And for the system, it's time for a final check.
That's good.
It's very rewarding for us to see that something that we thought was challenging and we thought it couldn't be done, the project has been abandoned. We brought it to life with the help of Kosmos. And I think that, for me, that is the most rewarding part of the whole thing.
Kosmos Energy and Safe Water Network have brought water to the doorsteps of our people. And that is why I am particularly grateful to them and want to use this opportunity to say a very big thank you to their management and staff. Well done and God bless you.
All long journeys have an end, and there is nothing so satisfying than to have a dream and the dream coming true.